First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Zhengkong. Homage to the 16th Dharma King Karmapa. And homage to Master Dupten Darshi. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. And homage to the main deity of Homa today. Go Se Cai Shi Mu, the wealth attracting goddess, or the red Manohara Vasudhara. Simu, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, temple directors, all disciples present here and over the internet. And our participating VIPs today from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Taiwan, Secretary General Daniel Liao's wife, Dharma Sister Judy. Accountant to the True Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa. From the CTI TV Taiwan, producers for the Geni Densang Shinten, Dharma Sister Rebecca Shiachi, Dr. Ryan Zhuang, and Dr. Zhou, and Dr. Gao, from the Sunny Line Dancers from Hong Kong, Miss Chue Hui-Lin, Miss Lin Yixuan, and an entrepreneur from Hong Kong, Datuk Kenneth Loy and family, and the former director of the Overseas Credit Warranty Fund of Taiwan, Miss Vivian Shit, and from Tianren Tea, Mr. Xu Zhou, and the president of Paisida, Mr. Li, and the president of the 505 Business Group of China, Mr. Wu. Have I mentioned the audience on the webcast? Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do? In Taiwanese, in Mandarin, in Cantonese. We have another coincidence today. Let me share that. So we had the Homa of Manohara, right? And Manohara is holding this hook. Her right hand is holding a Vajra hook. And her left hand is a treasure spewing mouse. And what a coincidence that during Homa, there was a squirrel. Did you see it? Please raise your hand. Maybe at the back here. There was a squirrel running around behind you and here. So under the Dharma, there was a squirrel. So where has it gone? It's gone out. So it went out. It was on the tanka at the beginning. And it ran over here. So it's impossible to explain this. We were performing Homa here at the Homa Hall. And before, it's been many years, but before, there was never a squirrel coming in. But for the Manohara, she's holding a treasure spewing mongoose. And today, so we have a squirrel coming. So it's impossible to explain. I remember when I was in Taiwan, I was performing Homa in the Great Hall, and ahead of time, Bodhisattva told me that there would be birthday wishes for me. So 2 birds flew in from outside and then flew around the pillars, and then they flew out. So these 2 birds represent the birthday wishes. And then also butterflies and stopped by above me. So talking about the wishes, it was really very marvelous. Like I said yesterday, lots of coincidences. Like the other day, I was holding the black treasure pill of the 16 karma bar. As soon as I took it out, all the crows flying from the sky and stopped at the library. There were lots of crows stopped above the library, and they were all black. And I was taking out the black treasure pills. And when I consecrate the True Buddha Seattle chapter, and then there were hundreds and thousands of birds circling 3 times above the Seattle chapter. So typically, when we pay homage to the Buddhas, we would do it in 3 times. So they circled 3 times. And there were like hundreds and thousands of birds. And then they circled 3 times and then stopped. So those are all coincidences. If I had another deity and a squirrel coming in, it may not be meaningful. But this is a Manohara Homa, and she's holding that treasure spewing mouse. So that's why the squirrel is meaningful. So all these yogic or spiritual responses are really, really amazing. Like when I consecrate the Maitreya Bodhisattva here at the Rainbow Villa, as soon as I started the consecration, from the sky there was a ray of light, only one ray of light, that the sun, the clouds just break open a little hole, and the sun rays shone directly on the Maitreya's face during the consecration. And afterward, there were lots of birds that flew down from the sky on the trees, and they chirped together. And after the consecration is done, the birds flew away and they're gone. They're gone. What a coincidence. If you say, oh, they're just coincidences. How could it possible? It's like, how could there be so many coincidences? How could it be? How could it be so exact? So only today, because Manohara Homa, the squirrel, was here. So, but first let me talk about next Sunday, July 26th. That would be Kalachakra Homa. And I transmitted Kalachakra around the world at the 5 continents: South America, South and Central America, North America, Asia, Australia, Europe, many different countries around the world. So this Dharma, so in the year 2000, the first transmission of Kalachakra was in Hong Kong. And the White Lotus King wrote a book, a treatise about the uncontaminated radiance treatise that talked about Kalachakra. So the White Lotus King was also the ancestor of Kalachakra, because the White Lotus King was the king of Shambhala. And Kalachakra, it was the most widespread and most supreme Dharma in Shambhala. And Kalachakra is truly supreme, has many practice procedures. And in Tantrayana, all the different orders or schools revere Kalachakra and transmits Kalachakra Dharma. Not many people are able to transmit Kalachakra Dharma. The Dalai Lama, Panchen Lama, Kalu Rinpoche, and Kongtang Rinpoche, or Kongtang Living Buddha. Not very many great lamas can transmit Kalachakra Dharma. And of the Han Chinese speakers, perhaps I would be the only one transmitting Kalachakra Dharma. So this is a very supreme Dharma. And we would have Kalachakra Homa next Sunday. And this Dharma is tremendous, and it can benefit everyone. and it is very beneficial in our spiritual cultivation. This is a Dharma that's tremendously beneficial to all people. So you need the good affinity for this practice. So if you have the affinity, then you may want to become the primary supplicants. We don't need to talk too much more about Manohara. Why? Because from the Chinese name, it's like wealth-attracting goddess. So it's very clear that this goddess is to attract wealth. So will you receive any response? You would know for yourself, right? That during Manohara Homa, that her treasure spewing mouse ran about, came out. So the primary supplicants would receive great fortunes and great bestowal. I've told you to become the primary supplicants yesterday, but some people still do not want to give a little to earn more, to earn a lot. So think about it. See, this Manohara with great responses. So her treasure mouse is coming, has come, and the treasure mouse was running around, and the hook is also here too. So you get whatever you want. So whatever you want would be spewed out by the treasure mouse. So during the dedication, whatever you wish for, you pray for it and you will get it. If you don't register for the ceremony or you don't become the primary supplicant for the ceremony, you miss such a good opportunity. You know, for us, you know, the one who won a great lottery, a huge lottery, was a disciple of Buddha's school. And in Taiwan, there was a 300 million lottery was won also by a true Buddha school disciple. So, you know, 300 millions, that some is an amount that cannot be earned by most people, but it was won by a true Buddha school disciple. And this time, the treasure mouse is already came out and running around. So let's see how many millions or billions we will win this time. Think about it. So, you know, at this Homa hall, during Homa, have we ever had a squirrel coming in or out? Never. For all these years. But today, during this Manohara Homa, a squirrel came here and running about. So, wouldn't you call this a spiritual response? When Grandmaster formed the Manohara hook and hooked several times, hook, 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 hook. This is the key point, this is the key formula. The hook has to move. Only then you would be able to hook something. If the hook doesn't move, then you will not get anything. So the hook has to move to hook, 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 and then you would get lots of stuff. The space is filled with heavy gold bars. Those heavy gold bars, if it hit me, if they hit me, I would be dead, but just let them fall in front of me. and you hook, and hook them all down to you. So this is the key formula of Manohara. When you form this Vajrahook mudra, the hook has to move. The hook is not static, which means that you can hook on all the stuff that you want. Or if you want a marriage, you can hook a beautiful lady, or you hook a tall and handsome and rich boyfriend. Immediately appears in front of you. So you can hook that too. You can hook anything, not just gold. In the past, when I practiced the wealth deities, or Manohara practice, one time I went to a bank to provide geomancy or feng shui consultation, and the bank closes at 3:30, and they took down the iron gates. That was Changhua Bank, and actually they still work because they had to count the money even after they closed the door. And then they collected all the money, like in a lobby area, all the cash, bundles by bundles. It's about half a truck. It's lots of cash, bills. And when I saw that, my eyes opened. So the Taiwanese banks, after they closed the doors, they collected all the cash, the bills, and then counted them and then put them into the depository. So that left a strong impression on me. So every time I hook, in Taiwan that was a $1,000 bill, but I hooked the $100 bill with the big head, the newest kind of bills. So with one hook is one truck full of bills, and second time 2 truckfuls, third time 3 truckfuls of bills. So now you know how to visualize, right?
然后我们可以这样子，勾财天女它本身来讲起来，整个西方极乐世界，所有最真、最美好的东西，全部集合在西方极乐世界。
All the best
全部是勾财天女勾来的。
are at the Western paradise. It was all hooked by Manohara. So she hooked the best of all the different Pure Lands and got it there. So the 8 treasure trees and the gold and the ambrosia, all the most beautiful stuff are all being brought by Manohara to the Western paradise. So she was emanated from Amitabha Buddha's heart. Other than Guan Yin and Mahastama and Manohara So the first lady, the second lady, and the third mistress, beloved mistress in the heart. She's only 16, the youngest and most beautiful. So he has the first wife, second wife, and the third mistress that was manifested from Amitabha's heart. This is really meaningful. So remember, when you do the practice of Manohara, the most important point is when you form Manohara Mudra, you visualize Manohara, and first you visualize and then recite the mantra, and you form Manohara Mudra, and the hook has to move and think of what you want, and it would come down from the sky. And then you would recite a praise at the end. Boundless past deeds of virtues transmute into wealth, longevity, and magnificence. Buddha Mother bestows upon practitioner riches and treasure. I pay homage to the enriching Buddha Mother. So you need to offer your gratitude to her for bestowing whatever you wish for. So you're very lucky that you came. That you came for this Homa. And you witness this, that this is the first time it ever happened at this Homa hall here. So you're very lucky to be sitting here today and witness this. So you have great affinity with Manohara. Today, let me continue on the Great Perfection Dharma. Guru Padmasambhava explained these 12 kinds of lights. The immeasurable light signifies that there is no time dimension in Trekchö. No time. Time does not exist. Why we say that time does not exist? Because time was invented by human beings. The hours, the minutes, the seconds, the year, those were all invented by human beings. In the realm of the Buddha, there is no time, the so-called time. It eternally exists, so there's no time dimension. So this light has no time concept. So that's why once you gain enlightenment, you will continually be enlightened. It never stops. And the boundless light represents the lack of space dimension of Trekchö's nature. So no space dimension. So human beings are very minuscule, very small. The earth too is minuscule. You think that the earth is huge. And some people say we are the big country and you are the small country. Like Taiwan is a small country. Right? So Taiwan is small. It's smaller than Japan, smaller than Korea. So Taiwan is like a yam, and Japan is like dog's droopings. You know, like when the dog dropped his droopings, it went like this. That's Japan. So Japan is like the dog's drooping, and Taiwan is like a yam or sweet potato. And Singapore our foreign minister said that Singapore is like
鼻孔里面的鼻屎。我不是侮辱新加坡，那是我们外交部长讲的。新加坡啊，就像一个
the drag in your nose, you know.
那加拿大就很大
so small.
加拿大
But
哇
Canada is
是一个很
huge.
大的国家，
That's a big
但
country.
人很少。那美国也是很大的国家，
And America is
印
also
度
a
也
big
是很大
country.
的国家，
India is
中国
also
也
a
是
big
很大的
country,
国
and
家。
China is a big
梅兰
country.
加纳也是一个很大的，那土地幅员广
They
大。
have lots
苏联也算，以前苏联算一个很大的国家，
of
独
land,
立了
and
以后就比较小一点。
Soviet
还有很多
Union
很大的
too was a
那
big
大部分
country
小国家也
before
不少，小的
they
国家。
split up. And there are also many small
大
countries.
家都以为很大，这个大的国，地球上
So
在
you
宇
think
宙空
that
间之
it
中，
is
我们
big.
知识所知道的地球也不是很大。
But based on what we know, the
像
Earth
天
is
王
not
星啊、
that
冥
big.
王星啊、海王星啊，这些星球啊，
And
整个
all
太
the
阳啊，
planets
都是很大
and
的。
the stars,
而
the
且太阳系
sun,
不知道有多少，在宇宙之
and
间
the
是无边的。
constellation, they're really huge.
人是多么的渺小。
It's uncountable. So a human being is so
你成
tiny.
了佛以后啊，这种光明呢，
And after you
无
attain
量
Buddhahood,
没有时间
the
性。
light is
这
immeasurable,
个无
has
边
no
光
time
表示没有
dimension,
空间的性，没有
boundless,
空间，
it doesn't have
无穷
space
无尽的
dimension.
空间。
So it
这个
is
就是解
infinite.
释这些光的意思。无碍光是无量无边的总
And
和，
the unhindered
没
light
有
is
妨
the
害，无
combination
量无边。
of the immeasurable and the boundless.
无对光是
No
没有相
obstruction, no
对立的。
hindrances. And the
而
unpaired
焰王
light,
光是表
there
示
is no
立光
pairing or opposite.
的绝对
And the
真理。
king
焰
of
王
blazing
就是这个
light
光明
means the
就像
ultimate
王一
truth.
样，
It's
它
just
最大
like
的，
a king.
最
The
大的，
light is like the
是
king,
绝对的最大。
the biggest one, the absolute
清
one.
净光表示立断无贪，没有贪呢、是没有贪
And
的。
the pure
清
light,
净光是没有
the
贪。
pure light
欢喜光
indicates there is
表
no
示
greed.
无嗔，
And the
贪
joyous
嗔
light,
痴的嗔，无
no
嗔，不用生
enmities.
气，什
no
么
anger
你都不用生气，
You don't need to
一
be
切都是
angry
不
about
用生气
anything.
的欢喜光。智慧
That's a
光表
joyous
示立
light.
断无知，
And the wisdom
贪嗔
light,
痴的
no
知，
ignorance.
没有愚昧，那是智慧光。
So
不
no
断的光
delusion.
表示立断的永恒。
And the
那
unbroken
个
light
光是没有止境的
represents
啊
the
光是没有止
eternal
境的
nature of
那
Tractual.
是立断的永恒。南师光是跟无尘光表示立断
And
的
the
不动，
unfathomable
不动
light
地
and the unnamed
超
light
日月光、
signify the immovable ground.
表示立
And
断
the
的超胜，
surpassing sun
立
and
断的
moonlight
绝对的
represents
超
the
胜，
preeminence of
太阳
Tractual.
超过月亮的光，
It
超过种种的
surpasses
光。
the lights of the
超日月
sun and the moon and the lights of everything else.
我这个解释就很清楚了啊，这个解释
So
非常
this
清楚，
explanation should be very clear.
大家不要误会啊。这
Please do
12
not
个光
misunderstand
明，
that these
告诉大
12
家，
kinds
你
of
们正
light
果的时候啊，
or
就是化光
radiance.
化成光。
So when
你得
you
到了果位的时候，就化
attain
成光。
fruition, you would transform to become light.
有一个国小的运动会正在举行
There was
接
a
力赛，
sport
接力赛就是跑一跑，
competition
把这个
at
接力
an
的这个
elementary
棍子
school.
啊，这个交给下一位，下一位再接到你的以后
And
再
that's
跑，
a
这个叫接力赛。只见一个男生向
a
前飞奔
relay
来，要
run
交棒的时候，老师在旁边喊
competition.
要接吻，要接吻，要接吻。
And when they're about
他
to
是叫他
to exchange the
这个2名
the
小
the
男生
the,
愣
the
住，
stick
愣住。老师为
that
什么叫我
the
们要接
teacher
吻？
kept saying kiss
啊
kiss
彼此
kiss,
对视，一脸迷
and
惑
they're
然后就
really
抱在一起接吻。
confused. So they hug each other and kissed.
你看，这个就是误会了。这个就是误会。
So that's misunderstanding. That's also play of bridge of channels.
我们对这个12道光不能有误。
Which actually means hold it tight, but it also sounds like kiss. But for these lights, you should not misunderstand. So the light that has no time dimension is called the immeasurable light. The light that has no space dimension is the boundless light.
我有一个朋友呢，他的习惯是什么东西都
I have a friend
舍不得扔掉。
That does not throw out anything.
有这样的人，这也是一种病哦。我记得有一个医生的太太。
This is also a kind of sickness. We know a doctor's wife.
超级市场或者百货公司在大减价，他就去了，他就一买了一大堆回来，不管有用没有用，反正他是在减价，他全部买。
So if she saw sales,
然后他又没有用，又舍不得丢掉。
She would always buy and collect them at home. And because she cannot get rid of anything, so she has tons of stuff at her house.
又在特价，这个超级市场也在特价，他又去了。
So when they have sales, that she would go and always get that.
她的医生的老公他就买了一个房子，买了一个仓库。就是专门堆他买回来的货品，到最后呢，他的货品。
And finally, the husband got a storage for her, and it is all filled. And finally, he got another storage, and it was also all filled. So it's called shopaholic. So when you go shopping with your wife, you hold on to your wife's hand very tightly. Why? Because if you let her go, she would go shopping. So you want to look like you were very intimate because you cannot let her run to shop.
什么东西都舍不得扔那一种。
So a kind of person that cannot get rid of, cannot throw out anything. And one day we went to their house, and he's showering with cold water in the middle of winter. So what happened? And then he said something that I can never forget. Because we have 2 boxes of cold medicine. If we don't eat them, if we don't take them, it would expire soon. So that's why she took a cold shower because she cannot waste the cold medicine. Otherwise, it would expire soon. So think about this. So don't laugh. A lot of people are like that.
师尊常常吃这个，我吃营养品我也不给他看那个日期有没有过期。
You know, I take supplements and I never check the expiration date. Because I know they're probably all expired. Because too many people give too many supplements. All this grape seeds and this is the best kind of supplement. This is for longevity and for the skin, for the radiance, all different kinds to strengthen the bones and also drugs or medicine for athlete's
我没有
feet
痔疮
and
啊，
for
那我一定要赶快便秘
hemorrhage.
一下。
So, but I
便秘
don't
几天，
have
赶快
those
长出痔
problems.
疮
I
来，
have
用你
no
的药吗？
hemorrhage. So should I just have
拜
constipation
托，
for a
不要
few days
送
so
我
that
这个
I
痔
can
疮
take
的药，
your
也不要送我
medicine?
三港藻
Oh,
的药。昨
please
天
don't give
还有
me
弟
all
弟
those
送我香港脚的
medicines.
药。
Yesterday, someone gave me
我没有香港
medicine
脚。
for athlete's feet, but
是
I
别
don't
人
have
有
that
香港
problem.
脚，我没有香港脚。
Other people
当然
do, but not
预
me.
防是可以的。还有很多营养品 A B C D E F G，
And there are all kinds of supplements, A, B, C,
所
D, E,
有
F,
的
G.
营养品我都有。
I have them
那摆
all.
了哇，一仓库里面，又舍不得丢。
The whole
舍不得
storage
丢
of it.
新的来了就放在后面，就先出
and
旧的。
I don't want to throw them
这
out.
是真的
So
啊。
when there are new ones coming
因
in,
为
put them at
人
the
家也
back,
备有很多的
and
胃
then I
肠
would
药，
take
所以我就
the
过
old
去的
ones
吃了
first.
如果胃肠不好，再吃胃肠药。
And some people also give me problems, give me
告诉大
supplements
家，
for
告诉大家，
digestion.
无外光是无量无边的总和。
So the unhindered light
无
is the
量无边的
combination
总和，无
of
量
the
无边
immeasurable and the boundless. So the
什么都不要紧。
so
到了无
anything
爱
is
的时候啊，
fine.
是什么
When
都
it
不要
is
紧。
unhindered or unobstructed, everything is fine.
所以我常想，
When you reach
这
that
人间
state,
的事，
everything is
在这
fine.
世间上的事，
So I often
你不要太
say
去执着。
that
不要太去执着。
things that happens in this world, don't get too
什么都不要紧，
attached to it.
无所谓，
Don't
不要紧。
get fixations
其实
over
也是无
it.
所得，
Everything is fine,
不要
no
紧。
problem.
得跟不
Actually,
得也不要紧。
nothing is
像爱情呢，
is can
该
be
来了它
gained.
就会来。
Nothing can be gained, so
啊，
it's
不该
okay.
来了它不会来。
It's the
你
same with
强求
romantic
它
love.
就没有。
If
不
it's
强
supposed
求
to
它
be
就来。
here, it'll be here. If it's not
那你
supposed to
何
be
必
here,
去
it
强
won't be
求？
here. So you
有跟
don't
没
want to
有都一样。
force upon it. So it's the same whether you have
那
it
你
or
修行
not.
到这样子，你已经到无爱境界了，
When you
大
reach
家也
such
不
a
用
state, you
说
reach the
特
state
别去
of
执着什么，
unobstructed
就是让它
realm
自然
or
的。
unhindered realm.
啊
Just let
该
it be
来的它就
natural.
会来。该
When
去
it's
的
supposed
也
to
自然
come,
会去。
it'll come naturally. When it's
那也
supposed
不
to
要
go,
去执
it'll
着
go naturally.
自然
There's
啊
no
自然
need
就好。
to be attached
所以
to
我常
it.
常讲一句话：
Natural
天
is
涯何
best.
处无芳草，何必
I
单
often
恋
say
一枝花。
There are lots of flowers
然后再想
in the
一想啊。
world. There's no need to
哎，
get
人
fixated
在
over
京
what
中啊，心在家，想念家中一枝花。
and then there
你也要
is
想啊，
a
自然一点。
continuation to that. That in the military, I'm
其实
thinking about
想
the
念也
flower
是
at
很好
home. It's good to
想
be
念也是
thinking
很
of
好。
someone
你心有所疑，得不得另外一回事。你只要
that
想念，
whether you have it or
感觉到
not,
甜甜。
it's okay.
就
If
有
you
甜
have
味
that
出来，
longing,
对不对？你要想
that's
念
a
就有
sweet
甜味出来了
feeling.
嘛。啊，你如果真正去得到呢，
But once you really get it,
反而你也会觉得说，哎，前面是甜的，后面是苦的。
then you would feel that maybe
所以
there's
该
some
舍则
sweetness
舍，
in the beginning
该
and then
取则
bitterness at the end.
就是这样
So
子的一种
if you're supposed to get it, you get it. If you're supposed to let it go,
很
you
自
let
然
it
的
go.
这一种状态，
So everything is
这种
very
状态
natural.
呢，就
You
是
don't
无
worry
爱，
about getting it
就
or
是
losing
无
it.
爱光。
So this kind of condition,
所以活多
it
少
is
岁随他
unhindered.
的，
It's like
赚多
unhindered
少
light.
钱随他的。
So
随
let
他
it be how old you will,
啊，
how
这
long you will
个
live, how much
修
money you
行
would
如
have,
何？我每日
let
都
it
修
be.
了啊，每
and
日都有
love,
修
let it
啊。你
be.
叫我怎么
And
这修不得？
how
那
your
就不
spiritual
得吧，
cultivation
因为我
is?
还是每日
Well,
修啊，我责
I
任做到啊。
cultivate spiritually every day. I fulfill my tasks, my responsibility. Then doesn't matter. Everything else doesn't matter. Like today, when I finished writing, it was 10:50, and at 11, Master Dehui's car arrived. So I took some tea, and then I changed my clothes, and then I did my practice in the car. So if I fulfilled my duties, that's good enough. I always practice every day. So I practice in the car. I perform the practice of the long gazing longevity practice. I never wear eyeglasses, and I can see clearly even the small prints. I never wear eyeglasses. My eyesight does not deteriorate. One character is one character, not two. So my eyesight is good. So long gazing practice and longevity practice, I do both. So, but 71 is pretty good. It's considered long enough. So I have done the practice, that's good enough. So spiritual cultivation is the same. Do you want to attain Buddhahood or Bodhisattvahood or reincarnated into the human world again? Whatever, let it be. I not attached either way. I'm not attached either way. How many sentient beings can I deliver? Always 5 million. It doesn't increase nor decrease. You know, I never think this way that, oh, if we have so many people taking rabbits, I'm so happy. Or, oh, I'm so sad today, I cry. There are a few disciples leaving me, leaving True Buddha school. I would be sad. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't cry. If they want to leave, they leave. So it's like opening a noodle shop. You don't like my noodle soup, then you go to other shop. That's fine. As long as they can cultivate spiritually and they have something to eat, that's good enough. It doesn't have to be True Buddha school. Spiritual cultivation at other places are fine too. So this kind of life is called unhindered or unobstructed. Whether you come or not, it's up to you. Go ahead. So, whether you come or go ahead. Go ahead. In Chinese, go ahead, translate it into Chinese is actually it sounds like a curse word. If you learn to be like Grandmaster, you would live a happy life. My wife is really good. Oh, this is a joke. I'm not talking about Simu. But Simu is really good too, and she really cares for me. Especially at mealtime, she often put food on my plate. Simu too. She did before, and now she does, and she will. She often put food on my plate. It's so nice. And then she said, "Oh, this tastes horrible. Why don't you eat this?" I'm not talking about Simu. Sumo always give me the best food first, the
他
tasty
自己
food.
到最后剩下来的，他吃剩下来的，好吃的先
And
挑给你吃。
she would give
他
you
就是
the
有这
best
样子的牺
parts,
牲的精神。
and then she
这就是她的
eats
伟
the
大。
leftover. So she has this personality, this tendency.
那
That's
我
why
也是
she's
无碍啊。
great.
你有夹菜给我，
But I am
我就是吃好
unhindered.
的，
If
对不
you
对？
put
那你
food
没有
on my
夹菜
plate,
给我，
then I would eat the good
怎
ones.
么又提到我？啊，
And if you don't,
我也是吃好
why
的，
am I
因为
talking
我挑
about
好的。
myself? I would still eat the good part because I would pick them
他会
myself.
讲说，哎，吃真是歪嘴鸡，歪嘴鸡呀、
And she would
歪嘴鸡
say
是筷
that
子伸过去，知道这里不好的菜，他会偏到这边来，夹好的，那个叫做歪嘴
that
鸡。
the chopsticks would be able to pick the good
你个
food.
先喝酱，你知道这个好吃啊，所以你的筷子就这样过来，这样斜过去，这样。
So
无碍
when you
就是没
know
有妨碍，都是好。
the chopsticks would go to the good food. So that's the unobstructed or unhindered
哎
philosophy.
这是我告诉你啊，无碍哲学也是一种心理，也是一种心理。
So this
这
unhindered
这个笑话好像是
philosophy
讲过了，但是
is
再讲一遍没有
also
关系的。
psychology.
我早
We've
上去
told
上
this
班
joke before, but let
来
me
不及
tell
吃
it
早
again.
餐，
In the
就买
morning,
了
before
地
work,
瓜
I
烤
didn't
地
have
瓜
time for breakfast, so
因为
I
很
bought
烫
a
啊因为
baked sweet
放在手上
potato,
很烫，
and
就
it was
包
really
起来
hot.
就放在后面的口袋。
So I
那后
wrapped
面的
it
口袋
and put it on my back
这个
pocket,
赶上了车没有，
and I
没有
caught
座
the
位。
bus. There was no seat,
然后就上车的时候没有座位，刚好眼的地方有一个座位，他就冲过去了，
but
一
there
屁
was
股
a
就坐
seat
在这个座位上， 这一
uh,
下子
way down, and I
原
sat
来
on
那个地瓜就裂开
that
裂开，
baked
然
sweet
后从
potato,
裤子这边呢就流出黄的东西出来，
and then that red goo, the yellow goo, start to came out from the
而
pant,
且它流出来冒着热气，
pants, and was warm.
一下子这部车子里面的人全部看到了。
And the other
Wow.
passengers saw that,
每个人全部都掩着鼻子，
and
都
everybody
鼻子都掩起来。
closed their nose.
我连忙想用行动解释清楚。这
I
是地
wanted
瓜
to
不是那个
explain
谁
with
不是
with
那是
action
地瓜不是谁
that that's sweet potato. It's not
他就
shit.
抓了一把黄的东西放在嘴里，
So he took that
呃
yellow goo
结
and
果
placed it
连
in
司
his
机都
mouth,
吐出来，
and even the
司机都
driver
吐了
vomited,
所有人全部都吐了。
threw up. Everybody threw
我告
up.
诉大家，这是心理。
So this is
这个就是心理。
psychology.
其实明明是地瓜，
Actually,
但
it
是你的错觉
was
里面认为
sweet
那是
potato,
那是
but
这个人还
the
抓不起来
misperception let you think that that was
明
poo,
明是地瓜是没有臭味的
and
但
that
是你就
person
感觉
still
到有一
ate
股臭味
the
冲过
poo.
来
And actually, there
然
was
后
no
他抓起
smell
来
because
吃
it
你说
was
这个
it
人在
was
吃
sweet
大便你就
potato.
呕吐。
So you thought
Yeah,
there was a
good
smell, but actually there was no smell.
这
And
是
then
心理。
he ate the
我们知
poo,
道这心理，
so you threw up.
所以不只是有物理的现象，无癌不只是有物理的
So
现
this
象，还有心理
unhindered
的现象。
realm,
你
it
先把自己的
involves
心灵啊，
not
弄清
only
净，
mentally but
这
also
就变成清
physically.
净光。
So if you
清净是非常
cleanse
重要。
your
清净
mind
是非常
first, then you would become the pure light.
你心理上
Purity
要
is
无
very
碍
important.
没有妨碍。
That in your mind you want to be
有时候啊
unhindered.
我在
There's
坐
no
坐在车
hindrances.
子里面跟大家坐一起，我坐保平器，
Sometimes in the car with everybody,
这一
I
吸
would
进来，
perform the treasure with energy
痰
yoga.
呐、
When I breathe
屁
in, oh no,
天哪，是暗闭耶！这个人放屁哦，他没有出声啊。
someone actually
这个坐在车厢里
farted
面啊，就一个车厢，
inside
车子
the
都关
car.
着，吹冷气啊。
And the
顺便做
car
保
was
平气
enclosed.
吸一口
And I
气
performed the treasure with energy
天
yoga
哪，
as soon as I
这
took a
一大
breath.
口保平气，全部都是
Oh
那个味道。
no, that smell.
会不会有影响？会啊。
Could it
你说会不会？
influence you?
每个人
Of
都受影
course,
响。
it would affect
坐
you.
在车子里面，大家不吭声。没有一个人
Everybody
讲说有屁，
inside the car
没有一个人敢讲，也
doesn't
也不
say
敢讲是谁
anything
放的。
that
因为
there's
不
a
好意思，
there's
放的人
fart.
也不好意思，我们讲的人也不好意思。
So
大家就
whether
忍，
the one who
心
farted
中就写一个
or
忍
the
字，
people who smelled it
真忍不
didn't
了
say
这实在
anything.
太臭了。
It's just the
要把车窗
we
稍
need
微
to
摇开一点，摇
endurance.
开一点又对那个放屁的不好意思。
So you took down the window,
这时候
you
怎么
rolled
办？
down the window,
还
but
是
you
忍
would
吧，
feel
管他
that
的，这屁，这个
may not be
屁也许
nice
哎
for that
现
person.
在
So
终于知道
whatever,
了。
even
我那
fart.
时候忍是对的，我照样
So
做
now
保
I
平气，
know.
把那股气放在我的
I
我的那
continued
个下
to
丹田，
perform the treasure
然
with
后
energy
忍住
yoga
气，
and place
忍
that
忍
chi
忍了两
in
三
my
分
lower
钟，再把
dantian
气吐出
and
来，
hold it for 2 or
然后
3
再吸
minutes
第二口气，
and then exhaled it. And then when I breathe in the
又
second
满了，
time,
然后又
it's
把
still
它
there.
慢慢的再吐出来，
And
做保
then
平气。
until it's full, and then
按
I
次做这样子，
exhaled
连续
it
做了很
again
多次，说啊
several times.
这个实在是不道德，
Treasure will and treasure
今
with
天才
energy
知道它
yoga.
是道德。
And I thought,
因为
oh
人闻
no,
了臭屁以
that's
后，
not
居
virtuous.
然可以
But
防止
now
癌
I
症
know that if you breathe in the smelly
多
fart,
闻臭屁呀、居然可以
it
防
can
可以预防癌症啊！你从来没有听过，有没有听过？没有啊？
it can prevent cancer. Have you
上哪
heard
里
of
看
that
来的
before?
消息
No. Where did I get this
你们听过没有
information? Have you ever
啊
heard of this?
你看，人牙上次有听过，
Master Lian Ya
报纸也有登，报纸
has
也有
heard
登
of。that. It was
所以
in
今
the
天告诉大
newspaper.
家，
So today, let me tell you.
无碍就是这样子，没有妨碍，
So
什么都
unhindered
是好的。
is like
你虽然
this.
闻到别人身
Nothing
上
would
出
hinder
来的
you.
味道，
Everything is fine.
但是
Although you smell that
你今天终于有
foul
好处，
smell
对不对
emitted by
也有好处
someone,
给你啊。
and
虽然
today
是
you
他
know
身上的
there's
晦气
benefit for you.
但是
although
你闻那
that's
气
the
以后，居然以那个
a
毒以毒
foul
攻毒，你
energy
那个 cancer 居然是会
and
不
you
会
breathe
产生
in that, and
对，
it
这是好
turned
事。
out that the
所以说世界
poison
上的事
cures
情啊，
poison, so you will
很
not
多
have
道理是
cancer
这样，
cells in your body.
吃亏就是占便宜。
So there are lots of
我
things
常
in the
常
world
讲，
that's
吃亏
like
就是占
this.
便宜，
So
吃亏
when
不要
you're
紧，
disadvantaged,
损
actually,
失
you're
也不要
taking
紧，
advantage.
无所谓，被
So
人
it's
家屈
okay.
辱不要紧，
So even
被
when
人家
you
诽谤也
lose,
不要紧，
when you're
被人家侮辱
disadvantaged,
也不要紧，
when you're
什
bullied,
么都不要紧。
when you're mistreated, when you're insulted, everything is fine.
不只是有物理的无碍
So
哲学，
that's
还有
the
心理的无碍哲学。
That's
两
the
得其多
unhindered
其
or
浅就
unobstructed
产生无碍
philosophy.
观。
And it's not only for the mind, it's also for the body.
就
And
我们
then
修
when
行
you
人
have
的生活
this,
就是要这样子，
then when you reach this state, then you would
什么
generate
都不
an
妨害，
unhindered
诽
light.
谤啊，诽谤，
Spiritual cultivation should be
我
like
们吃
this.
亏，但是
Slanders,
也是占便宜。
oh
因为
well,
他
although you
用
would be
用尽心力来
disadvantaged,
诽谤你，
it's
很
okay,
辛
you're
苦的
actually
啦。
taking advantage.
你知道
Because
他很辛苦
someone,
了，真的
when
黑头发
someone
都变成白
slanders
头
you,
发啊。
they need to
你知
think a
道他
lot
苦
about
吗？
it.
晚上还睡不
That maybe
着，
their
要
hair
构
would
思
turn
怎么
white.
怎么骂你，怎
They
么
cannot
侮辱
sleep
你
at
你
night.
才会伤心呐。
They need to
无所谓。
think about how to harm
怕
you,
什
to
么怕？
insult you, in order to make you
最
sad.
粗的话
So
都
it's
讲出来
okay.
了，粗的话
There's
我也不
nothing to
怕。
be afraid of. So they've said the worst kinds of words.
讲粗话，有时候人家
It's
讲
okay.
粗话，他
So
心
when
里
someone
会爽快一点，
Cursed,
让别人爽
they
快
felt
一点，也是
happy.
你的功德啊。
So if you let
让
other
他
people
骂
happy,
你，也是
that's
你的
also
功
your
德啊。
merit.
因为他
So
骂了你，他心里也爽快一点呐、
when someone
他不骂你，他
reprimanded
就不
you,
爽了。
they feel
所以让他
better,
爽快一
right?
点，
They
你
felt
功德就
better,
做
so
大。
that's fine. See? So
这不是很好吗？
if you
何必
let
对
that
骂呢？
happen,
不要对骂，那就
they
有
felt
爱。
better, right? So actually
你
you
对
gain
骂就
merit
有
from
爱。
that.
所以你要学
But if
习
you
无爱的精
retaliate,
神
if you
师尊讲的
react,
无爱观
then
就是
that's
这样
not
子产
good.
生出来。Om Mani Padme Hum.
So you need to learn the spirit of the unhindered or unobstructed.